But thinking with customer stories, so
Mhm.
has a customer story ever actually changed completely how you think about one of your designs?
Mm. Hmm. I've made a number of like little tweaks from customers, um, but not necessarily changed like not necessarily a big change. It's definitely made new products,
Mhm.
new sizes of things, but not a huge change. No, I'm just thinking through here. Um, hmm. I know we've kind of leaned into lockpicking some a little heavier based on feedback from people using lockpicks
Mhm.
in the line of work and so have a couple more products that we're working on for that will serve
Oh,
like
okay.
first responders and the like with lockpicking more. So more the stories provide nudges that tell me where to look where I can
Okay.
provide a solution and less like revolutionary feedback.
Okay.
Um,
So it's in a sense of changing the viewpoint, it's more like they direct a little bit more of a new
mhm,
product.
mhm.
Now the
And then,
lockpick, oh, go ahead.
and that's go ahead. Oh, and that's a balance too, is like balancing my vision for a product and keeping a comprehensive kind of flow to the lineup so that the products work together and that they really serve our ideal customer and also taking that feedback because we'll get feedback for tweaks that we don't go with. I know there's a number of people who would like this feature deleted or this feature added to the Shackleton, and I listen to that feedback and I go, okay, but there's way more people who really like that feature. And if we deleted, like for example, on the Shackleton EDC satchel, the
Mhm.
weather flaps,
Right.
if I've gotten a few requests to delete those,
Oh.
but if we deleted them, then all the people who are actually using them to keep their gear in and keep the weather or debris out
Mhm.
would be missing them. And so kind of balancing that vision for what I know is a good product and where I can't satisfy everyone, right?
Oh yeah.
And also listening to that feedback to make when the feedback becomes collective, when it builds up. For an example,
Hmm.
our trauma kit trifold, which is a little bit slimmer first aid
Okay.
kit, will stop the bleed kit, right? I developed this. This is a fairly recent product within the last couple months. I developed this to be really slim to tuck in my leather briefcase or
Hmm.
to slide in the car door compartment on our vehicle or like tuck in my wife's purse. And so I didn't do Velcro hook on the back because it's not the modular system. Well, I've gotten actually a decent enough feedback of people wanting Velcro hook, cumulative, and even
Okay.
like my friend Craig from Nature Reliance School, I put a good bit of weight in what he says, and he's coming to me like, bro, I've got people coming to me telling me I need to convince you to put Velcro hook on it. Okay, so like
Right.
we're going to eventually offer these with Velcro hook. So when that feedback starts to build up in a certain direction is when we
Hmm.
take it really serious.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, it's kind of the idea too. It's like if you try to please everyone, you're going to please no one.
Yes,
So you
yes,
kind of have to think about it. I
yes.
mean, I was gonna say I personally don't really use the weather straps, even like the Shackleton. But when
Mhm,
I do things like I'll like stick this Gorilla Tape and I like clip it together and stuff will hang on it inside the bag.
mhm,
So
mhm.
it's like it works. But it makes sense that some people are like, oh, I'm not going to use it. I mean, and in reality, if they don't like it, they could, if they're skilled enough, they could modify it.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, it's not
Yep.
like, that something's going to happen. You're not going to show up on their doorstep and be like, hey, what are you doing with this? That's not the original intent. And
Exactly.
and if you think about like the everyday carry, like this community, the bushcraft community, half of what a lot of it is modifications, like just a little bit of a
Yep.
tweak here or a tweak there, or like I'd like this, but I'm going to do that. I don't have it on me, but my dad, actually, I do have one. My dad cannot leave knives alone. I have given him like cold steel knives, things like that, and so he is very much the epitome of like the modification. So we have like this is one of his that he gave me recently. So this is just a cold steel. It's the Pendleton Hunter Light. So
Uh-huh.
obviously, typically it has like a nylon or like a grip
Yeah.
or some kind of thing. Well, he just basically hacked it off and then stuck it an antler on it, and then he puts like this little coin thing on the end.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's all of his knives. I gave him
Yeah.
a folding knife. It was like a assisted opening knife,
Hmm.
and he's in his 80s, so he can't really do that with some. So he takes off the thumb studs, throws them away. I was really hoping to keep them because he gave it back to me, and I was like, "What happened to the thumb studs?" He's like, "I don't know where they are now." Like, but then he took a Dremel tool and he like ground a groove along the side, so then he basically can like grab it and pull it open.
Hmm.
And then of course, being assisted made it even easier. I was like, so it's like that. You just modify and you update and you change
Hmm.
things
Hmm.
because you want to make it flow what works for you kind of thing.
Yep.
Now, I'm curious because obviously there's a ton of different awesome projects you have. If you could design something, and this is going to be something completely outside the world of outdoor gear,
Sure.
anything at all, what would you take a crack at
Ooh, that's a good question. Hmm. That is a good question. You say outside of outdoor gear.
outside of outdoor gear?
Uh-huh. Hmm. Huh. I probably either kitchenware,
Oh,
uh, kitchenware, like knives, forks, spoons, that kind of thing. Because there's just a lot of junk out there. I'm just trying to think about what am I like really opinionated about. Um, it would be, like my two non-bushcraft EDC hobbies would be board games and disc golf. So
oh,
if
okay.
I were to go into like a completely unrelated, like fun industry that I have no skill at, right? Absolutely no skill at, and would probably not be great at. Like it would be something I would have to go to school for or something. Would be that. That's just I enjoy board games. I enjoy disc golf. So I don't know if there's
Oh,
even careers you can have in those industries without being natural at it. And I mean designing disc golf
mhm.
discs, not playing disc golf.
Oh my goodness. I
Um,
can't. I've never played disc golf. I have a
uh,
friend out here who has told me that I need to play. He's got extra, and we just haven't had a chance to, but I've never played. Um, I think my limits is frisbee, and even then, I don't do too much because the only frisbee I still have is, and this is super nerdy, but like when
mhm,
Tron Legacy came out back in the day, they had identity, like the things that they have on their back as the identity disc. They made
mhm,
frisbees of them. Well, the thing is, I can't use it because it's this really super hard material. And the one time I tried playing with my
mhm.
daughter, it like knocked her. And that was like the first and only time we played together. I'm like, nope, we're never gonna. My wife's like, she's like, no, we should probably not play frisbee with this one because it's gonna knock
Yep.
somebody out. And so, but that makes me think of the sturdiness of a disc golf thing. But it
Mhm.
looks like fun. I'm just gonna have to take it up and actually give it a shot soon.
Yeah. What fascinates me about those two things is it's not the art for sure. I like aesthetically pleasing things, but I'm the one who I like very simple, clean, Dita Rams-esque lines. I like the radius on all my Apple products is the same
Mm,
radius corner. I like that kind of thing. But it's for board games, it's the mechanics, the different mechanics and how they work together to balance a game that interests me, and why I enjoy playing board games. For disc golf, it's all about the geometry of the edge and the
mm.
weight and the plastic type and that distribution and how that affects. uh, where the disc goes, how the disc flies, whether it hooks right or left, or all those sort of things. There's a lot
Man,
of science in those, just like there is in
right.
designing nylon gear. There's a lot of all the technical aspects to it is a lot of fun.
I love and this is kind of a little bit I love the I think you just posted a story where you like pulled up that sheet
Yes,
and I
yes,
was like that is oh that looks it's like every time we see like videos of guys like throwing pieces of ice down it's like right in that vein where it just is awesome and
yes.
maybe there's no complete way to verbalize exactly why it's awesome but it
Uh-huh.
is it's just it was epic.
It's so satisfying.
Yeah, I imagine. Well, I was gonna say it's like so. So that'd be something. You'd be, you could theoretically make yourself like a cool disc golf bag
Hmm.
fit within your thing. I mean, that would be a little bit outside the wheelhouse. You have all the everyday carry like
Yeah.
bushcrafting, and then it's like, hey, disc golf bag right here.
Yep. Yep.
But which is I'm curious too. Think about board games. Do you have a favorite board game?
Uh, I like Wingspan. I
Oh,
we recently picked up one. If you haven't played Wingspan, fantastic game. We recently picked up one called Petrichor. We,
oh,
my wife and I tend to go for kind of nature themed games. So
okay.
those are a couple great ones.
I'm writing down because I will completely forget if I don't, and they sound really. One of the ones that we do is Settlers of Catan,
Yes.
and then we
Yes.
have Settlers of Catan Junior to
Mm,
introduce that and play with our daughter,
hmm.
and she's getting there. I mean,
Awesome.
hopefully she'll get to the point where maybe at least she will trade resources with me when we play someday.
Yes.
Because my wife's like, she's like, I'm not gonna. It's got to be really good for me to bother because if not, it's gonna help you win kind of thing.
Yep. Yep.
But although I can see some interesting. I could picture like there has to be some kind of fun. Somebody, well, there's a oh, what was it? The survival. It's a yellow board game. I cannot remember it, but it basically is like the survival situations, and I can't. It's like 100 ways to survive or something. I'm gonna have to look it up. It's actually still in our church's youth room. None of the teens have ever touched it. Probably because it's got like a shark attack picture on it or something. I'm gonna find it,
Uh-huh.
but I was thinking about like I could see somebody doing like a bushcrafting board game where it's an
Yeah.
educational thing. That would be cool. Well,
I'd still rather be out bushcrafting than playing board
that's
games, though, I got to tell you.
there is something, and now where I live, it's a very rural area, but it's a very odd area because I can go from like inner city to farmlands to suburbs like all within 10 to 15 minutes. It's very interestingly laid out, but there's some like beautiful outdoors areas. But my level of bushcrafting, I think, is nowhere near yours. I think you are like light years ahead of me, man. But I love, seeing that kind of stuff because it's like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, and my daughter and I will go hiking and just get out there and like do stuff. And then our bushcrafting is like go out there, take my mini camp stove, do a little camp thing, set up a lean-to for ourselves, roast marshmallows, and eventually go home.
Hmm.
We haven't done too much beyond that yet, but that's one of those things too. I think that's a very cool thing. Now, have you done much with your family bushcrafting wise, or is that still kind of a more of your own thing at the moment?
I enjoy a couple of different things that we do. One of which I enjoy taking them along to
Mhm.
classes.
Okay.
So like that first aid one, we ended up out in the woods doing scenarios and things like that. I've taken them to various survival level one classes, more where we're like camping and then learning about the subject and going through scenarios with the subject, less. Um, no, none of the like go out there with just a knife and the clothing on my body kind of thing.
Right.
I've done a little bit of that, but I'm not taking the wife and kiddo to do that yet. But then we like going down to Georgia Bushcraft, which is an
Mhm.
event down in Watkinsville, Georgia, and or Central Ohio Outdoors does one as well. They just had theirs, I think, this last weekend or the weekend before last. Um, where I like going to these gatherings where anywhere from like, Central Ohio's 100 to 200 people. Georgia Bushcraft is, I think they've have 700 people signed up so far.
Wow, that's
It'll,
incredible.
yeah, it'll be 1,500 to 2,000 people attend, whether it's just for a day or for the full weekend. And what I like about those is, so like we're going and we're setting up a vendor booth and running that part of the time. But people come from all over the country and all walks of life, and with this shared interest, exchanging skills and ideas, and they're like Georgia Bushcraft. There's going to be over 100 mini classes ranging from like 30 minutes to a couple hours running 2, 3 days. Just
Wow.
all the time. There's like 5, 6 classes going on. So I like those gatherings because they're a good melting pot of skills and ideas for
Mhm.
overlanding and EDC and bushcraft and that sort of thing.
And they all, and I was gonna say, and a lot of all of those things tend to, in, if you find somebody who's in one of those things, chances are they're connected to other things, no matter what you do.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to, because I've seen videos of Georgia bushcraft, it looks amazing. A little bit of a hike for me,
Yeah.
but it's still one of those things where I've had some conversations more about the blade shows, but there's one blade show
Mhm.
Atlanta and stuff, but they're
Mhm.
like lists of like I'd love to go and do those. So it's for
Yeah.
me there's like this kind of arc for this channel where I would like it to go. And
Uh-huh.
some of those like downswing would be going to some of these events and getting to
Mhm.
like actually be around. Now, when you go to the events, do you kind of tend to do you do workshops or have you taught started teaching workshops there? Or is it more you're kind of going as a vendor and interacting with people there that way?
Both.
Okay.
I won't be doing it this fall gathering, but a number of times I've taught kind of like a intro like mini class on lock picking for everyday carry there at my booth. One of the things with Georgia Bushcraft is if you are a vendor and if you have a skill, because a lot of the vendors also are have various skills in the outdoors. You have the opportunity to, and you kind of have to submit an application to do it,
Hmm.
to teach a 30 to
Oh,
45-minute class. And so they get a number of people who, like I sell lockpicks. And so teaching people how to use lockpicks. And then
that's
some
awesome.
of those are interested in buying lockpicks by the time they're done learning, right? Or whether that's blacksmithing or doing sourdough or, mead making, that kind of thing.
Man, that's so
Um,
like the whole nine yards.
yeah.
So how did you get into now? And I've seen the lockpicking come up.
Uh-huh.
How did you get into that? Because again, it looks amazing. I love lockpicking videos. I've seen, I don't know which lock. There's some guy I follow that he basically makes fun of all the big lock companies.
Uh-huh.
But how did you get into that?
When I was in my mid early teens, a friend of ours introduced me to a blog called Red Teams. I think it's redteams.net. And red teaming is where, if you're a big corporation, you hire a red team to try to get access to your
Okay,
servers, whether it's, maybe digitally and they're red teaming from behind a computer or penetration testing, or it might be a combination of like just walking in, seeing how good the front desk security is, picking a couple locks,
right.
that kind of thing. And they were very like, have the gear loadouts and stuff on that blog. And lockpicking was a part of it. And so I started playing around with, picking a filing cabinet for fun with like made out of paper clips, lockpick and tension wrench made out of paper clips.
Oh wow.
Um, and so I played around with that for years, making my own lock picks out of old car dipsticks or street sweeper bristles. Are great materials for making lock picks out of.
Oh.
Um, and then it just kind of it grew from there until I don't know, a number of years ago. I don't really have I don't remember when,
Hmm.
but I had a number of my friends in the bushcraft world started coming to me asking me, "Hey, I want to get into lockpicking. What do you recommend?" Because I would post about what I'm playing with, and it became this like, "Hey, so you go to this site and you get this item and this item and this item and this item and this item," setting them this long grocery list until I finally went, "Why don't I just go partner with these guys and have them make me a kit of all the items
Okay.
that I want?" That I'm recommending based on not just my experience, but like the experience of a lot more knowledgeable people than me. about this type of thing, and tweak the dimensions on some things, or make I want this lockpick profile because it's one of the most reliable, readily used, but I want it on the thicker side because people like me or people who are newer to it who are not the most finesse with their picking, we want it more robust. So I
Right.
want that profile, but I want that thickness, kind of like
Oh,
mix and
okay.
matching to put together a pick set for everyday carry or for like firefighters or people who they want the most bang for their buck, the most capability for
Hmm.
limited training time. Because I mean, people get lock picking it's a skill set and it's a fun hobby, and people go down that rabbit hole deep, spending hundreds upon hundreds of dollars
Oh,
on
wow.
picks and developing a really great skill set, but also dumping a lot of time into that. So when I put together some of our kits that we sell, they're like our main one, the entry kit. It's heavy on the lock bypass tools because we have a lot of really crummy locks here in the US. And if I don't have to spend a bunch of time picking that, or I'm rusty on my skill set because I haven't been practicing in a while,
Hmm.
uh, then is it something I can just bypass because I know that this bypass tool fits in that lock and I don't have to rely on a
Right.
perishable skill? Bingo. So that's kind of where we've leaned into is not lock picks for lock sport for the more like high end, that the lock picking addicts, but lock picks for the everyday guy. And they're made
That's awesome.
in Georgia too, so USA made is always a win.
I would say a lot of your stuff is USA made. I mean,
Yeah.
is it pretty much everything USA made at this point? Or is there any exceptions that you're kind of working on?
Every most everything everything sewn goods, besides like hats,
Hmm.
um, are sewn here, right? In the USA. I have two fabrics: the survival scarf fabric, and then a 200D or 250D signal panel fabric that we're going to be using. Those two fabrics are not made in the US.
Mm,
That's just it's a sourcing thing,
right.
and we are not big enough of a company to get custom fabrics made. Um,
Not yet.
Not yet,
Not
not
yet.
yet. So for now, those two fabrics are made in the USA, or are sorry, are made overseas. But all of our Tough Possum gear is made here in the
Mm,
USA. We sell a few Wazoo survival gear items that are made overseas, and I'm just trying to think here. The trauma shears are made overseas as
mm,
well.
okay.
Now, I know the guys at Wazoo Survival Gear. I've camped with them. I've hung out with them. I'm going to see them here in about a month and spend
Okay.
some time working, collaborating with business stuff. And then they're going to be at Georgia Bushcraft as well. And the guys behind the Trauma Shears, X Shears, they're family friends of ours that like
Oh.
their photographer would come over and use my dad's internet when I was like 6, 7 years old. Um,
Oh, wow.
and
That's
so,
incredible.
like, long family history there. So, even where it's not made in the USA, like, it's partnership, it is USA companies, right?
Hmm.
Another one would be like the PVC patches, like the little glow patches.
Mm,
Those are not made in the USA, like little swag things like that. But the company is a veteran-owned company here that designs them and then works to has to outsource them overseas.
mm,
But we're not it's I'm not sent working with someone over in China to design it,
right.
right?
It's someone
So
here and
I tr I try to keep as much of that here as possible.
that makes a lot of sense. So thinking about through, obviously we've been talking through and we touched on it. So I think so we're kind of with our fun segment and kind of our closing stuff is going to be more legacy and mindsets and stuff.
hmm
But
hmm
I love, let's see a pocket dump, what you have on you.
Sure, sure. First thing around my neck here, this is our escape necklace. This kind of ties into the lock picking aspect of things too,
Hmm.
and that it has a little black micarta cross on it, so
Mm,
a little faith reminder there. But it also has a handcuff key and it's a telescoping Kevlar saw. So it has
Oh
a breakaway
wow.
link for safety, but a little bit of escape and evasion against like illegal, restraint, kidnapping, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
And it's just a little token of my faith.
I think that's
Uh,
awesome. That's awesome.
Casio, I don't remember. I looked at the model that you had there, that you recently posted on your
Oh, I
Instagram.
was gonna say this one.
Yes, and I opted for a different model because that I didn't want it to be radio updating, I think, so I opted for a slightly
Oh yeah.
dumber model.
I
But
have. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I like those blacked out Casio watches.
There's
Yeah,
something about Casio.
yeah,
This one it has Bluetooth, so technically I can
that's what
connect
it
it.
was. Yes.
Yeah. But I don't want my battery to die, so I basically it's just on airplane mode, so
Mm,
it's not connected. If I want
hmm
to, I can connect it,
hmm
but I'm just choosing not to. Maybe every so often I will just so I can put like log my steps and everything. But
hmm
as a Casio, the biggest thing I like is just that screen. I like the
hmm
high vis screen. And
Yes.
there is something about a Casio. They're just super timeless.
Yep. Yep.
But
Let's see. Front left, mod light flashlight.
oh,
Big fan
okay.
of mod lights. One mode, it's bright. It's very bright. And I mean, it heats up in your hand, but they're impact rated. They are waterproof. They're just beasts of flashlights, and I like the
Mm,
therm switchback rings, so I can get my light out fast when I need it.
right.
So big fan of that. And then I like this is the ton model from
Oh,
Offensive Industries, and I have had his 3-inch Varger for quite some time, but recently switched to a different model. So I really like the scallop scales on that,
I was
and
gonna say the scales on that look absolutely amazing. I
yes.
mean, look at that. Those are beautiful.
And they look pretty aggressive, but they fit your fingers. Like your fingers just, no
They
matter
just kind
how
of
which way you grab it,
they
your
lock
fingers just
in.
wrap into there. And so it's super comfortable, very, very slicey. Um, keys is on a Key Smart
Okay.
HD. And this is where I have, let me not show my keys on camera for
Yeah, I
security
was gonna
reasons,
say I've
but
heard we don't want to show the keys because apparently
yes,
people
I
can do
do
some
have some
funky
lock
stuff.
bypassing tools on there. So little
Oh,
traveler's
okay.
hook and jiggler and comb pick. So I have some lock bypass tools in there with my actual keys. See here, little minimalist leather wallet that I made. So it's just a couple pockets. So
Oh, that's nice.
here's one worthy of mention. A piece of gear in there is this right here. This is from my friends
Oh,
at Nature Reliance School, and this is a
okay.
fire card that they made in collaboration with Wazoo Survival Gear, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's credit card sized. It's made of celluloid, so it's flammable. You can hit it with a Bic lighter, and it will burn bright for a number of minutes. You can
Ah,
scrape shavings off of it and hit that with a spark. But this particular one, because Nature Reliance School is known for their tracking, it has inches and centimeter scales on it, as well
hmm.
as like a little this little symbol here in the middle. It's like a circle, a 1-inch circle divided in quarters, light
Okay.
and dark it's like an evidence marker symbol. And what this card is you drop it next to a track when you go to snap a picture of it, whether it's a
Right.
person track or an animal track, and it provides scale. So you can then
Oh,
either send that to either for your own records for tracking, or you can. I'm in a number of like Signal groups and
hmm.
Facebook groups. So you're like, man, I don't know what this track is, right? Snap a picture with it, and now when you post it for help getting identification, that's the scale for it. So
Oh,
that's why I
that's
carry
awesome.
that in my wallet, and that provides both, fire starting tinder in my wallet, and it's not greasy. Like,
Hmm.
if you do like petroleum jelly and cotton balls, like the classic fire starter,
Oh yeah.
you can't really carry that in your wallet. But
No.
right there, fire starting tinder and a scale reference card for tracking.
Mhm.
Let me see, what else do I got? Oh, right here, lighter. I carry a Zippo lighter
Oh,
with a butane insert, so it's like a Bic. So there is my fire starting for the bushcraft and and survival purposes. But this particular one is from 1924 US. Great artist on Instagram. And on one side it says, "I serve only one king." And then on the other side it has this neat kind of like medieval dove
Oh,
artwork
I love
engraved
that.
into it with Psalms 23:4 on it.
That is
So,
awesome. I love how
look,
that looks.
again, like memento, like token of my faith, reminder,
Mhm.
but also survival gear. And with it being a butane insert, it's not evaporating. The fuel's not evaporating on me.
I was to say
So,
that's a good thing. I've had that problem.
yeah.
My lighter it's just this Zippo.
Yes.
It's monogrammed because I was in a wedding years ago and they
Uh-huh.
monogrammed it, but it evaporated, so I got one of
Oh,
these.
nice. You went for the arc option.
Yep.
Yes.
Taylor Martin over at the Best Damn ADC, he had this like power practical sparker, which are like super affordable. And I
Hmm.
grabbed one and I use this going on vacation, especially we go up in Maine. We're doing fires all the time, and it's just significantly easier to hit this even
Hmm.
when it's windy.
Hmm.
And but yes, fire starters always a must.
Yes. So I've got my knife, I've got my normal like phone, keys, wallet, but then I've got knife, light, fire starting, a little bit of like lock picking and escape and
Mhm.
evasion there. So it's pretty minimalist. That's what I roll with on a daily basis.
Okay, yeah, I was going to ask you because I see you had the straight edge, so you're just a fixed blade only type
Yep.
guy.
Yep.
Okay,
Fixed blade only. I like folders, not enough to not carry a fixed blade. I like a fixed blade, something I can process some wood with.
yeah,
Like that's where the bushcraft, survival side comes out.
I'm a two blade person at the moment because I
Uh-huh.
have it's my NAF's Space Kitty
Oh,
because
nice.
I'm a
Yes.
cat person. My cat is not here. Normally, she would be in the background, but however, since the family's watching a movie downstairs, she has opted to sleep down there where she can get more pets.
Yes.
Otherwise, she'd make an appearance. So I have my space cat, but then I have the
Finch
warrior.
pick.
Yes, I love this thing. This thing
Yes.
fits so beautifully. Hopefully, I never have to use it, but
Amen.
New York State obviously is really funky with how they with carry stuff. So I can't always concealed carry. I carry more often than not, but every now and again, if I'm in an environment that's going to be a little bit more, I go with that instead because it fits really nicely under the
Mhm.
belt in such a way that I can get at it.
Right
But
on. Yep.
but
Yep.
I there
If you look at my water bottle right there, I got the shipwreck
there you
slider right
go.
there. Yep.
Yeah, I have this and I have I think it's the Disciple is the
Right on.
Warrior Poet Disciple. I have the two of
Hmm.
those. And those are great knives. Although
Right on.
I've been meaning to switch more towards pocket fixed blade. I have a friend who has the NAF's Lander 4, I think it is,
Hmm.
and he's tinkering with eventually starting to become a maker of like knife scales. And
Okay.
so I told him I have to buy the Lander 4 so I can test scales for him.
Hmm.
I haven't gotten there yet. I'm getting there,
The
but
great thing about this, like, you're doing a podcast or like I have, it's a business expense. I mean, now if you, for the podcast, you got to figure out how to, make the podcast appear on your taxes. But at
yes.
least for explaining to the wife why you bought another knife, it's a business expense, right?
Well, this is something my wife has been like, she's like, go for it. She's like, if you can build this into a business, she's like, that'd be awesome.
Yep.
And I'd love to just because
Hmm.
it's something that's just it's fun to get to know people and
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
build, to be a part of a bigger community. Like there is something just really and just especially with the everyday carry community, being from someone who has been like a partaker of or an observer, that's a better one. I've been an observer of the whole of the community. Now I'm I would still say that I'm an observer, but now I'm like just a hair over the edge where now I'm actually like interacting with people that are creators and makers and getting to know thoughts behind the processes
Hmm.
is super awesome. And it I've always thought it was an awesome community, but even more so the more I get to know people, the more I'm like, this is just absolutely epic.
Hmm.
And it is a very awesome. I mean, I'm a nerd. I'm like, and with ADHD, you know how we can be with collecting hobbies like Pokemon cards. Like I have so
Yep.
many, and there are some communities that are just purely toxic. Like I have done my fair share of online gaming. Halo, the Halo community. Some Halo person might come across this video and comment and be like, "Oh, that's not true." They're totally mean. Um,
Wow.
versus like in the everyday care community, I do not see toxicity,
Hmm.
which is just a really awesome thing. Like everybody's like super awesome, super encouraging, just overall,
Hmm.
which is very cool. I think
For
other
sure.
communities should take some notes of that.
For sure.
But
For sure.
so thinking about kind of like as we kind of like closing up, thinking about your legacy and looking forward, and we kind of talked about this a little bit, you know, and obviously you talk about your token of your faith,
Hmm.
and with the cross and your Zippo and everything. Could you tell me a little bit? Obviously, you and I talked about that. We have that in common, but
Hmm.
for the listeners and everything that don't, would you want to expand a bit more on that for
Hmm.
us?
I think one of the things that often gets lost is showing people love with a capital
Hmm.
L and not in a wishy-washy way. But I
Hmm.
think while recognizing truth, being Jesus with skin on
Hmm.
and treating people with dignity and respect and being their friend, even when you might not agree
Mm.
with them, within reason, being there for people and really wishing that their lives are better, whether they're,
Hmm.
maybe it's that they're freer people, that they're like one of the things I recently kind of like what's my goals over the next 70 years, right? And my goal is that everyone, because of me, because of Tough Possum gear, everyone up and down the value stream. And by value stream, I mean when value is being added to a product. So up the
Hmm.
value stream is my fabric supplier, and before them the people, in the mill making the fabric, right? And down the value stream, and like one step up the value stream from the
Hmm.
finished product is employees or collaborators, and down the product stream is my customers. My goal is that everyone up and down the product stream, that their lives are better off because of Tough Possum gear, because of me being in it, because of, whether that's, providing for their families, maybe that is inspiration or education. Um, you know, they're down the road, like when I'm 60 years old, I will have more to offer in terms of mentorship.
Hmm.
But even now, maybe it's friendship, right? Um, but that no BS education about, so whatever the topic is, survival, EDC, life, that their life is improved. Maybe it's that they are more prepared. As simple as that. Maybe they're
Hmm.
more prepared to stop the bleed, or to,
Right.
maybe it's a little bit of education about choking, and now they're able to save their grandma when she's choking. Like
Mm.
whatever that looks like, as far as it actually plays out, because my fabric supplier is not going to get benefit from me on education necessarily, right? I'm
Right.
I'm seeking education from them on fabric. But wherever that value comes in, really I want that value to affect them and their family
Hmm.
positively, whether it's just revenue stream or whether it's a useful product that they have a smile when they use their sit pad. Um, that's
Right.
really that's the end of the goal, is just being a light in whatever I'm doing in business.
I think I love that. There's a great, well, we talked about, I think it's in Ephesians where it talks about of workmanship. Like,
Mhm.
and obviously I've sat through sermons where they talk about like serving God isn't just going and being a missionary, going and being a pastor. Like we need businessmen and
Mhm.
businesswomen. We need people that are in the daily life doing that, setting an example.
I think I lost audio on you.
Oh, can you hear me now? Oh,
I think I lost audio.
Uh-oh.
right after you said in the.
Oh, is it coming back? Oh, hang on.
All right, you're back. You're
Oh, I
back.
did. Okay, good.
There we go.
Perfect. So, I was saying is we need as believers, like being employees, businessmen. It's not just the pastors, the missionaries. It's
Hmm.
like people that are just in the everyday life.
Hmm.
I think that's a very awesome thing. So we think about too, like kind of as we're thinking like years from now. So when someone picks up a piece of gear you've made years from now, we're talking like maybe 5, 10 years from now. What do you hope that they feel?
Mm. I hope it's useful.
Hmm.
Um, like there one of the 10 rules of good design from Dieter Rams, and Dieter Rams was a German um, industrial designer. He designed everything from like radios to calculators to coffee pots and
Hmm.
electric shavers, right? But what like the kind of the culmination of his design philosophy was good design is as little design as possible. There's a
Hmm.
lot of products out there that have design features for no reason other than design. And that really doesn't like 20 years down the road, the widget that is not inherently understandable to the user is not going to serve someone well.
Mm.
I want it to be evident that when you pick up a sit pad, it feels like a sit pad that a product is easy to understand and that it delivers on that understanding. Like an example of bad design is if we have a product with something that looks like a knob, but it's actually a button,
Mm. Oh yeah, that would make
because
sense. Yeah.
now one of the design principles of Dieter Rams' design principles is that good design is honest. So if,
Hmm.
if the design promises that this is a knob, but it's actually a button, the design is not honest, right?
Mm.
And so I want, you know, 10, 20 years down the road, someone picks up one of my products, the design is honest and you know, some products because they will be specialized might not be self-evident, but
Mm.
in general, I want with as little, information about what this is as possible, I want it to be evident what this is, right?
Yeah,
There's no
absolutely.
reason to make a satchel look like a rocket ship if you pick it up and you discard it because you don't know that it's a satchel, right? A satchel should do satchel things.
Hmm. Yeah, makes absolute sense. So, and as you think through things like that, what's a piece of wisdom or encouragement you'd give to someone? So, say someone comes to you, you're going to Georgia Bushcraft, some guy comes up to you. What is a piece of wisdom that you'd give to that person who's just starting to make things with their hands? Maybe their kitchen table, garage, whatnot. What would you give to them as advice?
Be a user first. Be a user first, and then make for what you're using it. Um, and understand what you know, and don't try to exceed what you know.
Hmm.
A lot of bad design happens by people who
Oh, there we go.
who are trying to design for customers that they themselves are not a customer of.
Hmm.
Um,
That makes a lot
yeah,
of sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's ladies trying to design men's clothing or men trying to design ladies' clothing. I'm just using that as an analogy. I'm sure
Right.
there are guys out there designing great dresses and ladies out there designing great jeans, right? Or great whatever,
Right.
men's shirts. But because there's some skill to it. But as far as like if someone came up to me at a show like a product, um, if you're a tech nerd working for Apple, don't go design a bushcraft knife. Go become a user of a
Right.
bushcraft knife first, right?
And maybe even to some extent, realize that depending on the market too, like do you need to add to that or can you work adjacent to that?
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
should I go design a knife when there's a huge knife market, or maybe should I design a sheath that could be in addition to a knife and adds
Hmm.
that feature, something like that.
Hmm.
That might be something to think about too. So obviously, you are 25, 26.
26, yes, sir.
You're 26, so you have quite a, you have your life ahead of you. So
Mhm,
when you look ahead, so we're talking about legacy for the piece of gear when someone touches it, but
mhm,
when you look ahead, what do you hope Tough Possum gear represents in the long run? And not just as a brand, but like as your personal legacy. Because, I think at this point now it is becoming, it's been here 5 years,
mhm,
5+ years, and then even longer before it was official. You know, what are you kind of hoping for that, for the company, for yourself, all that?
mhm. Um, hmm. I think the big thing is, have we helped people become more capable, become less, I don't want to say less fragile, less vulnerable, I think is a big part of the mission, really.
Hmm.
I think, yeah, less vulnerable. Can have we helped people become more capable, more resilient in their life? I'm not I'm not in a place where I should be teaching survival skills, right? I'm not necessarily a fan of, a young shot who has some skill teaching survival skills beyond what he has mastered, right? And I have not mastered survival skills. But so I shouldn't be, I'm not going to be teaching survival skills at this point in my life, but I can produce products because I have the skill of producing those products. And can I produce products that leave that legacy of helping people, become more prepared against the cold,
Hmm.
more prepared against, did they did someone was there a shooting? Was there a motorcycle accident? Was there, like, one of my favorite stories was here a couple years ago. I introduced a guy to lockpicking, and then they were doing he worked EMS, right?
Hmm.
Worked on an ambulance, and they were doing a wellness check. Grandma wasn't responding. They get
Oh, wow.
there.
Okay.
They could communicate with her through the bathroom window that she had just fallen and she wasn't hurt, but she couldn't get up, and the door was locked. And what are you going to do? Are you going to bust in the door? That's, I mean, standard protocol, right? You got to get in to help grandma up because she fell. She's not hurt, but she can't get up.
Hmm.
And it's locked from the inside. And who's going to replace that door jamb? Grandma on her pension or the EMS station? Well, he ran back out to the ambulance and got his Tough Possum gear entry kit, picked the
Oh,
lock,
wow.
and got in. So, you know, in that moment, we were able to help him be less vulnerable in his skill set to serve people. So I
That's
think I
awesome.
think really, as far as like the company, that's the legacy we're after is, can we enable people to be more resilient and to be less vulnerable in life?
I think that's awesome. I think that's a great legacy. Um, I think, from being a fan for these past years, I think you guys are well on your way to doing that. I
Thank you.
definitely, I was gonna say, man, just, this has been an awesome time talking with you. Thank you for taking time to share your story and just kind of giving some looks behind
Yeah.
the scenes and everything. So for those obviously that are like, okay, so this is cool, I want to follow you, where can people find you?
Number one, toughpossumgear.com. That's spelled TUFFPOSSUM gear.com. And that's our website. If you go on the homepage there, you can sign up for the email newsletter there. That's where all the sales, any new product announcements, that sort of thing goes first. And like when we do Black Friday, the email newsletter gets a much larger discount and
Oh.
usually earlier access than the public. So I try to push people to the newsletter there. We're really, really active on Instagram at Tough Possum Gear, and Facebook as well. You can find us there. Not really active on X, or formerly called Twitter, but we're
Mm.
still on there if that's something people do. And then
Okay.
come find
Awesome.
us at Georgia Bushcraft if you're in the Southeast. That's I think the first or second weekend in November.
Okay.
We're gonna have a booth there.
Hey, I was gonna say now that'll be a great. I was say pick up some gear and everything. Now are you taking like basically a bit of your full inventory, or you're gonna be kind
Yep.
of sticking with? Okay, so
Yeah.
basically,
We take a little bit of everything out of stock and we
hey,
take it down there, and then what we don't sell we bring back and re-upload the numbers. It's a process.
hey, there we go. And I was gonna say we never know, depending on who else is at Georgia Bushcraft, you may be popping up in somebody else's videos. Obviously, I was gonna say you've popped up in Taylor Martin's videos a couple times now when he's been down that way. So and so that is awesome. Well, dude, again, thank you for jumping on here. It has been just a blast, and obviously too, it's been awesome connecting with you.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
just again too, for those of you that are like thinking about following on Instagram, you're pretty regular about what you're posting and everything, and it's just a great look at all the stuff that you guys are up to, which is awesome. But
I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity to be on here and share and talk and hang out. It's
yeah,
been a
man,
great time.
absolutely, we'll have to have you back some point in the future as well. But
Yeah, we're
awesome,
down.
perfect. Well, guys, all of you guys, thank you for tuning in and stay tuned for obviously more shorts and everything that get posted. There'll be some clips and everything of this leading up to when I post it next Saturday. So you guys stay tuned for there. But until next time, guys, have a good one.